Good afternoon, students, family, and Trinity Tribe. Bradley Whitford said, to infuse your life with action. Don't wait for it to happen, make it happen. Make your own future, make your own hope, make your own love. And whatever your beliefs, honor your Creator, not by passively waiting for grace to come down from upon high, but by doing what you can to make grace happen. Yourself, right now, right down here on earth. Over the past 4 days, you've had quite the experience, and right now you are here and prepared to begin writing the next chapter. Many of you have a story that has led you here today. Most of you have either experienced a health issue of your own, or you have suffered alongside of a loved one unable to help them with better answers. Either way, you made the choice of change, and it began with Trinity. We are forever grateful that we have had the opportunity to be part of your journey and experience the development of your knowledge and skills and the growth of your confidence and courage that has led you to this moment. It is difficult or impossible to comprehend the bond that you have created with our faculty. It means something to be the first, to walk alongside of our faculty throughout the hardest months of their work that has culminated here in Charlotte, North Carolina. There will be many students to come after you, but nobody else will ever be this first group. You are now skilled and confident, equipped to become a successful practitioner. Life should always be lived to make an impact on others for the better, and you have the powerful knowledge of natural health to make that impact. Scientist Carl Sagan said, "Who are we if we are not measured by our impact on others?" That's who we are. We're not who we say we are. We're not who we want to be. We are the sum of the influence and impact that we have during our lives on others. As you go from here and you begin to challenge the thinking of others within your family and community, you will be called crazy. Trying to persuade someone to give up their microwavable foods, to drink vinegar, or to cook up a batch of dandelions, or to rub some oils on weird places on their body will equate you to be calling crazy. At a time when our healthcare system is completely broken, when the answers for everyone is more pills or more syringes, your advice will be cast aside by those that are brainwashed by the system. It doesn't take a practitioner to question why one should shoot the flu into their body to prevent the flu. That sounds illogical, even to me. What you have learned is powerful. It is life-changing, and you can now become an even greater influence after having completed the NHP or CHHP programs at Trinity. We are not supposed to ask questions or challenge the wisdom of a doctor. We should not be skeptical or think that greed is behind that prescription. Nobody would possibly put one's health at risk for the sake of a quota or a kickback, would they? A parent gets to choose if their child runs across the street in front of a bus or if they are allowed to hold a knife. But that same parent that is protecting their own child is ridiculed and questioned when choosing not to vaccinate. Your family physician, the school nurse, your grandparents with their freezer-sized bag of pills, many of which they cannot even tell you why they were prescribed, will all call you crazy for your radical thoughts. When your kids go to the birthday party at the neighbor's house and you don't allow them to drink 4 Capri Suns and eat 3 pieces of cake, you will be considered difficult or extreme. You are not going to be part of the crowd. You will stand out. You likely already do. You aren't going to be cool, but being cool is overrated. I joined this mission last March, and part of the reason I left a more traditional higher education setting was because we have a mission I knew I could stand behind. I am a consumer of healthcare, and I have watched 2 people I deeply care about be directly impacted by our broken healthcare system, and I strongly believe there is a better way. In 2011, my mother-in-law, who is in her early 70s, she's a wonderful woman who would do anything for anybody, was at our home in Phoenix to watch our daughter, who at the time was just turning 2. We were going out of town for our anniversary. The night before we were preparing to leave, she pulled my wife aside and she began crying. She told her that she was afraid for us to leave her there alone with Arabella. She had just read her a bedtime story upstairs in her room, in her rocking chair right next to her window. She shared with my wife that she envisioned throwing Arabella out the window. She also shared with my wife that she had envisioned jumping out the window herself. We were mortified. We knew this was so out of character for her and that something was very wrong. My mother-in-law carried around that large bag full of freezer-sized bag full of pill bottles. We never knew what was in that bag because it really wasn't our business at the time, but it became our business. We immediately began asking her questions about her pills. Most of them, she didn't even know why they were prescribed. She seemed relatively healthy. She had energy. She was well-balanced, so we were never concerned. Now we were concerned. My wife decided to drive her to the hospital and have her examined, and also her medicine. My mother-in-law lives in a very small town in West Virginia and had been seeing the same small-town doctor for most of her life. When my wife called me a couple of hours later, she let me know that they were going to transport her to a local mental facility for further evaluation. I immediately knew that she had shared more of her dark thoughts with them, and they feared for her safety or others. She was not the kind of person who would ever lie or make up a story, and she was not the kind of person that would even know that if she were truthful, she would be sent to this kind of place. With her husband almost 2,000 miles away, she stayed in a full-blown, inpatient mental health facility for the next week for evaluation. At the end of that week, when we were able to pick her up and she was released, we proceeded to discover over the coming weeks that her hallucinations that had been ongoing and her homicidal and suicidal thoughts were attributed to her most recent prescription of Crestor, a high cholesterol medication. After working with her new doctor in Phoenix, where she had been evaluated, we discovered that she never had high cholesterol. She had been prescribed Crestor to prevent her from getting high cholesterol. My wife, a doTERRA wellness advocate, began working with her mother and her father and was able to create a set of oils and supplements that reduced her dependency on medication from 11 pill bottles to 2. And 7 years later, no destructive thoughts, and she feels better than ever. I witnessed the madness of our healthcare system in 2011, and it has only gotten worse since then. There are millions of people out there just like her. And you are going to become their advocate. You are going to become their coach, their practitioner, and show them that there is a much better way. My daughter Arabella is now 8. She began having absence seizures at age 5. I have watched her serve as a guinea pig for 2 different neurologists. She has tried almost every brand of anti-seizure medication, and currently she is on 2 of them that oftentimes turned her into a zombie. My wife and I often wonder which is worse, the medication or the seizures. There has to be a better way. We keep searching. The faculty here have helped. They have helped us with Arabella, and we have implemented some of their recommendations. Arabella has gone from 100 seizures a day, per day, to about 15 to 20. When it comes to the people you love, sometimes you feel hopeless and you become angry. You now have a set of tools to do something about it. I am far from an expert on what you are learning, but I am still smart enough to know that our mission is critical for millions of people, and what you have chosen to do at Trinity will help fight for those that are not armed with your level of knowledge. There are still great doctors out there that do believe in what we are doing, and there are some that have integrated natural health into their traditional practices. We have 3 licensed doctors in this room that certainly believe in what you are doing. This isn't about fighting. This is about empowerment. It only takes one person one client, one family member for you to help, and then you will be called a miracle worker. And they will line up to see you, they will call you, they will listen to you, and then you will become the rock thrown in the pond, and lives will begin to be changed one by one, 10 by 10, hundreds by hundreds. Your influence will not only change a person's life, your influence will change your community, your state, and hopefully our country and our world. When this starts to happen and your influence spreads throughout your family and the community, you will no longer be called crazy. If we can collectively influence enough people to rely on what God has created to provide us with better health, then we will begin to change how healthcare is done across this world. I have often referred to every single person I work with in this room as crazy. I have often walked away from meetings and phone calls talking about clown cars, flipping over and shaking my head. I have woken up in the middle of the night after a nightmare that involves a clown. Despite all of the crazies and all the clown cars I've encountered, I absolutely believe with every ounce of my being in our mission and the motto that we created last spring of transform the world. It is our calling. We will build a student community that stretches across the globe, and we will collectively change the world through the great news of natural health. The bracelet that you got when you enrolled and the black band you might have picked up outside of the door with those words on it means something. We are on a mission. One student at a time, one client at a time, one community at a time, one city at a time. You are part of the crazies now. You are part of our tribe. As Steve Jobs once said, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them because they change things. They push the human race forward, and while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. Congratulations to each one of you. We look forward to now working alongside of you to transform this world. Thank you.
Okay. We are all so proud of you guys as our first group. And I want to get this party started. So, can I have my first row? Melody Avink. Cynthia Bartolomeo. Jenny Braislow. Raquel Brown. Delilah Burrows. Haley Connor. Barbara Dial. Doris Diaz. Emily Griffith. Maria Harkleroad. Heather Henning. Hannah Hicks. Deborah Jordan. Monica Panagowski. Maria Carnezes. Michelle Kinsey. Hayda Kozel. Melita Manafee. Virginia Mullen. Ioana Nukara. Dee Palmer. Rachel Pearson. Trinity Severance. Margot Shute. Rosemary Smith. Vivian Stanbo. Susan Taylor. Lisa Tomasini. And Elizabeth White. On behalf of myself, the instructors, and the entire Trinity family, we couldn't be more proud to see you all as our first graduating class of our new curriculum. Okay, go out, be proud, change the world. So thank you so much. Chris is gonna.